What's up, Ania and Kiara?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Y'all ready for some girl talk?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it would be enlightening and helpful if we talked about one experience that we've been through, like one of our worst experiences ever. Because I feel like personally, I'm not going to speak for you and Dania, Kiara, but I know for me, I feel like, people see my glory, but they don't know my story. They don't know some of the battles I've overcome to help get me to where I'm at. So, um, with that being said, I'd like for you and Ania to share something that you got through, one of your worst experiences, something that you wish that you had never ever went through, but you made it. Y'all good?
Yeah.
Talk about being put on the spot. Oh, this is
I know.
so good about just talking. So who
Yeah.
wants to go first?
I can go. You sure?
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. I would say my worst experience, but I think I'd do it again because there was a lot of growth there. So I'm gonna switch it up. So when I was around 23, this was after I graduated from college, got my degree in psychology and minor in women's studies and all that cute stuff, right? Leaving and entering the world, you think that you're going to get the jobs that you want, but that's definitely not the case. I think that was the hardest hit for me after graduating college. It's just that knowledge that you're not going to get what you want or be where you want immediately. It's going to take some work. So I had 2 dead-end jobs. I worked at Goodyear Tire and Rubber. And then I worked at Sally's Beauty Supply, which nobody would ever know. Yeah. And I knew nothing about hair. It's so terrible.
Damn, that's just like me trying to sell Mary Kay when I was younger, and I don't even wear makeup.
The craziest things. So one evening I got home and I was really tired of working at Sally's Beauty Supply, and my dad was like, here's a job on Indeed at an inpatient facility, and it's in Wisconsin. You should try it. You should apply. So I applied. I did 2 Skype interviews and I actually got it.
That's good.
So
That's good. Congrats.
Okay, yes. So they offered me relocation. Cool. They offered me a place to stay. So all of their employees, if they needed, they rented out like these homes, and we could all room like two people to a little section, and we could all room and stuff like that. Cool. Rent would just come out of our paycheck, and that was all set up. Nice. Okay, so things I didn't have to worry about. So when I got it, my dad and I packed up my 2-door coupe because I had a burnt orange 2-door little coupe at the time. Put as much stuff as I could possible, and we left. He flew back down to Georgia, and I was up there by myself for 1.5 years. Knew nobody, no family, no nothing. So what people don't know about me is that sometimes I make impulsive decisions. Yay. So that was kind of one. Like I guess it didn't register for me that like, oh, my family isn't accessible anymore.
Yeah.
Can't just visit them when I want. My friends can't always just fly up here on a whim whenever because they're working too. Like all of these different things. There were no people up there that looked like me. I was in a town where I had gone months before I saw outside of the inpatient facility setting, Black people. I would always get looked at as if I was fucking Bigfoot, excuse my language, and it would piss me off. And the only other Black people, kind of like I said, I saw were young girls who had previously been in DJJ or incarcerated. So it's just like, it was bad. During that time, I slid into a really deep depression, like clinically depressed, to where I had to take medication. And I was taking the same medications as some of my girls, like some of the girls that I saw day in and day out, cried every single day. Like, yeah, had racist things said and done. I vividly remember going, like, I worked the second shift. So it was like a 3 o'clock to 10, 3 to 10, 3 to 11. And I had made it to this local pizza spot, bar type of situation after work. And I beat my other coworkers there. Obviously, they're white. I get there and then I go up and ask the, person working there, hey, I want to go ahead and order a pizza. And she's like, we're not serving anymore. We're not serving any type of food at this point. And if it wasn't for the woman who was intoxicated at the bar, who started calling her out and saying, yeah, you all are serving. You serve popcorn. You serve pizza at this time. You serve this and this and this and this. Yeah. And then she just told the lady, shut up, stop talking. So it's experiences like that were worst experiences, right? Because, you go from a space where you're not the only one to being the only one.
Yes.
And then you unknowingly signed up for that because obviously I didn't research enough or whatever have you, because I was young, and I just wanted an experience and to get away and, progress and stuff. So that's what I ended up unintentionally signing up for. Wow. And those were some rough times.
How did you get out of there?
Well, I'm a firm believer in, if you want to change your situation, you need to figure out a next step. You just can't up and leave, leave. Like, that's never been a thing for me. So just like with that job, I had to have a place to stay and I had to have money to get there. Like, I made sure that was aligned before I even left Georgia. So in order to leave, I was like, I need to take this medication and get some buck in my system, get some buck in my system and stop crying. And I ended up applying to grad school, and that was my closing, my transition. So I needed something else. And I did those interviews and I cried in between them, and I ended up getting accepted to grad school. And that's how,
girl.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So would you say for your situation that your comeback was greater than your setback?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, even if that was thank you. Even if that was a really dark time, I can say that I was brave,
Definitely. That's
different moving up north as opposed to going to college and you're just 2 hours from home.
Right.
Oh,
agree.
Like, I left. I spread my wings and I left. I had an experience. My mental health declined, but I got myself together, did what I needed to do in order to move forward. Nobody can take that experience from me. And I had met, my coworkers were really cool. And if I was ever in a situation where I was uncomfortable or somebody was trying to make me uncomfortable in the bars or whatever, there were some of them that were big into advocacy and feminism and, human rights and stuff like that. So they would speak up and kind of try to shield from some of those things if they were present. So those are things that I'll never forget as well. Like who were my allies in the moment.
That's awesome.
You know, and those experiences were valuable. Sad, but some of our sad experiences can definitely add value to who we are and who we've become. So.
And just a side note before I toss it to Ania, that's one of the things I miss about us not being in the same location, us meeting, going out to a bar or lounge, chilling, listening to music, but we're going to get there.
Okay, we will.
Just saying, it's coming. So, but I'm proud of you, Kiara. I'm definitely proud of you. And I personally try to apply different experiences to like current events or things that might be happening to me during my present life. And all I'm going to say is after listening to what you just shared, no doubt it prepared you for the current climate that we're living in. I'm very proud of you.
Oh, absolutely.
I am. You're welcome. And I love you.
I love you too. I love you both.
So Ania, what is one of your worst experiences that you've ever been through?
Yeah, so I was going to air out someone, some dirty laundry, and I decided not to. So I will just say that I was in a very, very bad relationship. And that relationship in and of itself is something I never would have wanted to go through. But what I'm going to say from that is that relationship set into motion a lot of events that led to me getting diagnosed with a lot of different mental illnesses. So that stressful relationship that was so difficult for me was kind of the starting point for a lot of negative things that happened for years after that.
How did you get out of it?
Out of the relationship? So it was you, actually. I also moved across the country, and I was by myself, and I had never been by myself before. And, you know, I didn't go in with the job and my own place to stay. I went in through this relationship, so I had nothing. And when you're dating somebody or with somebody who is toxic, that's a really bad situation to be in. And more than anything, I think I just didn't want to be a failure. And so I didn't want to say, this is getting too bad, I can't do it. But I talked to my mom and my dad and my grandma every day. And it was actually Mom. She would call me sometimes and she's like, I know that you're not okay. Do you want to talk about it? And I'm like, I'm not ready to talk about it yet. And then she's like, it's okay. And then just sit on the phone and cry. And she would just sit there with me. And so then one day I was like, yep, I'm ready. I want to leave. I want to come home. And she's like, cool, pack up your car and come home and we'll figure everything else out. And that's what I did. I packed up my car and I drove all the way to Florida, and I got into grad school. You know, I graduated with my bachelor's. I got my master's. I'm in a PhD.
War Eagle.
Now. I met my husband. So great things came from it. But the mental illness part of it was really difficult. And continues to be difficult. That is a struggle. I am also on medication that I have to take every day for the rest of my life. I struggle a lot. I put in effort to meet like a person's really shitty day. I have to work really hard sometimes to get to that level. And that has made everything else in my life increasingly difficult. It puts a strain on my academic life. It puts a strain on my career. It puts a strain on my marriage and my relationships with my family and friends. It touches everything. And it kind of forced me, though, to really look at, like you, who is there for me and who is supportive and what is healthy for me. And I had to really clean out a lot of negative things and people from my life. to save my own. I had to cut a lot of people out. And I also think I just learned a lot about myself and who I am, and that I don't have to be this perfect person. I don't have to be the straight A student. I don't have to be, the go-getter 24/7. Just me as I am. I have characteristics and qualities that make me worthy of being. So yeah, lots of therapy and lots of support, like from my mom, has been very, 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 very helpful.
10 toes down.
I can see how so many people with some of my disorders end up in jail or homeless or in hospitals. I can relate to all of that. I can see how that happens. I think the only reason I haven't been there is because of my family. So including my husband. But yeah, my mom and my dad and my siblings, that's the only reason. And that's how I got through it. I got through it with them. And I'm a firm believer that every situation that you're in does propel you to the next level, so you can deal with what comes afterwards. And I've been able to help a lot of people who have been in my shoes. I've been able to be a person that people can say, wow, she's Black and she is a woman and she has mental illness and she's still in a PhD program. And like, maybe I can go and get a PhD too. And you absolutely can. So yeah, that's my worst situations.
You are so resilient. Do you know that?
Thank you.
That's powerful.
It's hard sometimes, I think. Like, sometimes I look at myself and I'm like, I struggle with feeling like I have enough of everything. Like, even once I got to the PhD level, I was like, I haven't done that much. And I was talking to David, my husband, actually, and he's like, well, look at your resume. He's like, just look at it, because I had recently went over he's like, just look at everything that you've done on your resume. Just look at it. And so I went and looked, and I was like, oh wow, I've done a lot of stuff. And but it's hard to see that sometimes when you're in the thick of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to see when you're in the thick of things, but I try.
Well, Ania, you already know I'm proud of you, and she also knows I'm 10 toes down always.
Yep.
So I call my children, I refer to them as the little Evans. If they call me, they know. They know. Doesn't matter what time it is. We got this. Yeah. So I am very, very proud of you, future Dr. Ania.
Absolutely.
So,
wait, and the little home that you're gonna build me, it doesn't have to be that big. I'm just playing.
A she shed. A she shed.
A she shed. That's cute.
A she shed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want a she shed when
Okay.
as my life progresses.
Okay, I'll accept the she shed. Yeah. But I'm very proud of you, Ania, and I love you.
I love you too, Mom.
Thank you. So, one of the worst experiences that I have ever been through, I thought it was when my grandmother passed away. And I have always told, my grandmother passed away before my children were born, so they didn't have the opportunity to meet her. But I always told them that she was the storybook grandmother. I'm like, oh my God, my mom Anna used to make homemade biscuits, and she always would tell me, you have to put a pinch of sugar in certain things when you cook it because it just brings it all together. And she can make lemon cakes from scratch. And although my grandmom didn't play, she was one of my biggest supporters. Mm-hmm. But then COVID-19 happened, and my mom passed away on Easter Sunday. I have never experienced depression before in my life, I'm always able to overcome. I'll have my moment, get mad, whatever, do a lot of cursing, screaming, but then it's like, okay, Vonda, you've had your moment, move on. I have, like, I can't stress this enough. Twins have ties.
Mm.
Whatever illness my sister got, I got it. Vice versa. When I was living in Okinawa, Japan, I got these random pains in my stomach from out of nowhere. I call home, Londa has had pancreatitis. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it is. So, but I'm serious. We have ties. Man, me, my sister, and my brother, and I have the best brother ever. My younger brother, I love him. I love him. We we couldn't see each other. We couldn't get together. And I'm like, I mean, I can't, what am I gonna do? My mom used to live with me. I can't talk to her, no advice, don't get to hear her cursing anybody out. And I even told her, I already knew I was moving to Delaware. And this is what I told my mom. I said, Mommy, when I get to Delaware, and the Nia knows, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, you're going to come back and you're going to live with me, but your room, you're not going to have a bedroom. Your room is going to be the living room. I'm going to make sure there's a full, huge bathroom, whatever, that's where you're going to be. And I'm like, and anybody that comes to visit, if they don't get it, guess what? They can keep it moving. They don't have to come here because it's all about you. And it was taken, I mean, my mom, she died from COVID-19. My mom didn't die from any other health issue. And so I'm like, what am I gonna do? You know, I had the longest divorce in history that was still going on, that didn't get finalized until right before I relocated. But I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. All of my military friends texted and called me. They said, Vonda, you don't have to talk to us now. And my favorite cousin, you know, they're like, you don't have to talk to us now. We just want you to know you're going to get some crazy phone calls. And I'm like, what? What do y'all mean? What is, what are you talking about? And they're like, they're going to be people that are actually going to call you. You're going to have to relive your mom passing away. And then they're going to try to tell you that either God is going to get you through it or you can't keep grieving. And I was like, oh, okay. They were right. Over and over and over. It was so bad on Mother's Day. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't take any phone calls. None. I didn't take any phone calls for Thanksgiving. Not taking any for Christmas. Because it's my grieving process. That was my mom. And nobody can tell me how to feel.
Absolutely.
But with that being said, without my biggest fan and cheerleader, I made my move from Florida to Delaware. I know I even had a moment with, well, you guys know I'm business oriented. So I even had a moment when I was putting off starting the podcast. I had gotten the LLC, and one day, I mean, I was always in the bed. And I just started thinking about my mom. And it was just like, she said, Vonda, this is not you. This is not who you are. Get up and do what you know you're supposed to be doing. And so the fact, although I'm still going through the grieving process, the fact that I was able to share that with both of you and everybody that's watching, and I didn't cry, says how far I've come to dealing with the loss of my mom. All I kept thinking is my mom died by herself. My brother and my sister were in Maryland, but they couldn't, you're not allowed, you're not allowed to be there with them. But the fact that I can share that with you guys and I have not shed a tear says that I'm growing, that I'm advancing further and further in my process. And at least I know if I do a family phone call, for instance, on Christmas, that's going to cause me to have a setback. I'm not going to be able to talk to anybody. I'm going to be crying. I can't do it. And so for anybody that's listening, specifically with my mom dying to COVID-19, I'll just tell you, don't let anybody tell you how you should grieve, how long you should grieve. That's a personal process. You take all the time that you need and you do what you need to do for you to move forward. So that's my story.
I love that.
Your mommy.
I love
I
you.
know.
So did you all have anything else that you wanted to say?
No, I just wanted to say the same thing, really piggybacking off of you and what grieving looks like. And, you know, it's not a certain recipe to a grieving process. Everybody does that within their own time and in their own way. So I do want to tell people that unsolicited advice to somebody that's grieving is not necessarily helpful.
Thank you.
If a person that is grieving comes to you for some sort of support and help, then that's your cue. Otherwise, you know, you can just merely say, if you need me or whenever you need me, I'm here. But allow them to do that, you know, and be in their own space if they need.
Thank you, Kiara. That's very, very good advice. Ania, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, and it kind of piggybacks off of all of our stories. I just really want to say, as someone who struggles with mental illness every day, that I have seen the darkest of days, and it gets better. And no matter what it is that you're going through, no matter how dark it is, no matter who cares or who's there or what happens, there is always going to be a tomorrow, and tomorrow has endless possibilities. So stick around to see what those possibilities are.
That is awesome. I enjoyed this topic, you guys.
Me too.
And so, Kiara, before we end, you want to let everybody know where they can find you at?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at SoTherapistAF. And also, if you're into art, you can find me on Instagram at k.soleilArtwork or on YouTube at Kiara J.
And I definitely will have all of Kiara's information in the description. And the future Dr. Ania does not have anywhere for you guys to find her at. So if you want to leave a message, you can do it through me, leave a comment on the YouTube channel. And if you guys like this, please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate all of your support. So you can find me at OJT Talk on all social media platforms, or at Ovonda, OHVONDA. You can follow me on both. I'll respond. Me and Kiara both will definitely follow back. And I want all of you all to remember that the comeback is always greater than the setback. Remember to mask up and stay safe. Bye, everybody.
Bye.